but there have been some notable changes, new faces, as there always are. Let's look now, Lewis, at the depth chart on this Ravens offense.
Yeah, Wendy, what they really did is they went to work on the perimeter so Joe doesn't have any excuses as far as being able to push the ball down the field. And I like how they comprised the wide receiver position here. Look, they go out and they get Michael Crabtree. So you replace him at the X position. You replace Mike Wallace with Michael Crabtree. Why? I think Marty Mortenweg is running this offense now. In the West Coast style, you want the big guy to play the X, the guy who's on the line of scrimmage, who's strong, can get off press coverage. Michael Crabtree fits that perfect. At the Z position, where Jeremy Maclin was, you put John Brown in here. I remember John Brown used to play for Arizona Cardinals. This guy can absolutely fly. So that's the position Deshaun Jackson used to play in Philadelphia, where Marty Morton was there. Get him off the ball. That absolutely just strikes fear in cornerbacks' hearts because this guy can, well, look, if he gets past you at the line of scrimmage, it's over. Now, at the tight end position, they went out and drafted one of my favorite players in the entire draft in the first round, in Hayden Hurst from South Carolina. I know that makes you happy.
It does. Thank you.
Look, Hayden Hurst is a beast now. This is a guy who's a two-phase player, Jeff. He can actually block.
You gotta respect it, baby.
He can actually block in the core, and then he is fast down the field as far as being able to press the field vertically, create separation at the move point, catch the ball at its highest point when it gets there, and then run after the catch, as you see here on the monitor. The guy can do it all. And then you have the wild card. What are we going to do with Mr. Lamar Jackson? Now, look, I'm hesitant to put him in here at the running back position, but I'll tell you this. If they're going to get him on the field at all at a position outside a quarterback, maybe this is where they use him as a hybrid type of player. Let him get the ball in his hands out of the backfield on some bubble screens, on some flare screens. But I just wouldn't want to subject him to too much punishment because they didn't draft him to be a slash.
Thank you.
They drafted him to be a quarterback. So I know they're doing this right now. I just don't see that being a big part of their plan at all. This is where he's going to play.
Yes.
If not just to attract the attention of the defense, you know, and actually open it up a little bit so he doesn't have to necessarily subject himself to getting tackled and getting hurt and running up through the middle. He can just take the eyes off the defense over here and hopefully maybe open it up.
Yeah, you know listen, what? I wouldn't waste much time with it. Look, they've got some people now.
And listen, let's be honest though. This is a great discussion, right? The reality of doing something like that, those are expensive reps. You only get a limited amount of time to get, and it all looks great when everybody's in shorts. When you got violence dude coming off the edge, that some guy might go unblocked, there's always a risk. I don't care how minimal you think it is, there's always a risk. And to lose point, if you believe he's your franchise quarterback, if you drafted him thinking I'm going to replace Joe Flacco, you don't subject him to that type of risk unless you say, hey, I can lose him. I can afford to lose him. Because the reality of what it looks like is if it takes you 15 minutes on a Tuesday, 15 minutes on a Wednesday, that's 30 minutes of your practice time that's cut down on doing something, and how productive will it be on Sunday? Because I'm going to tell you, it may be productive in week 1. You put Bill Belichick on that week 2, or you put some other coach, Andy Reid guys who have seen it, they're not going to be afraid.
It's not a guarantee that he's going to get hurt. First of all, he can run, and you're not necessarily running him like he's, Le'Veon Bell straight through the middle. It's not a guarantee he's going to get hurt. If you have a package for him where he can do a couple of things, take the attention of the defense a little bit.
It's how much time in the package, and how productive could it be? That's the bottom line.
Hold on, Lou. You were saying if you drafted this guy to be the future quarterback, from years down the road, you're not going to do that. But you still want to get some use of him in the transition while he's waiting because he's so athletic.
Let me give you a counter, though, okay? Let's just say this is Arizona's depth chart. You got Sam Bradford here. Are you putting Josh Rosen in here?
Not the same player.
But the point is he has the same value to this franchise long term.
Not athletically. He's differently in terms of a dual threat.
I don't care about his athletic ability. I'm talking about what I want him to do is play quarterback.
Right.
I don't want him.
More importantly, I think it's what they want.
That's what I want him to do.
And so to that end,
look, they can use him however they want.
But of course they can. But let me ask you this then. When they say quarterback creativity, let's talk specifically at the quarterback position then. How do they use and get some snaps for Lamar Jackson in 2018?
I mean, really, it's just going to come down to whether or not Joe Flacco isn't playing at a high rate of efficiency. Because really, look, they want to win football games, right? I think ideally, they'd like to let him just continue to come along, let Joe play, let them utilize all these other weapons that they got. Look, they're set up now to where they can win, Wendy. I mean, they can legitimately win.
Well, look at this.
Now, if he beats them out, great. If Joe gets hurt, then he's ready to go. I just don't know if you just kind of like take Joe out on some arbitrary type of series and put him in there.
Well, that's what I think will be interesting, because there's times it sounds like they would consider that.
Or have them on in the field at the same time.
Good luck playing 11 on 9, because that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks don't stay in the backfield. Other quarterbacks stay on the backfield. Other 11 dudes on defense going to keep playing.
That does
and let me
not
tell you, if
seem
you're
like
defensive coordinator, what you're telling him. That dude gets the rock.
idea.
You better sell out to go get him.
Look, I just
sell out to go get him.
I know this. This kid right here, we had a guy in Philadelphia in 2010 who Marty Mornhinweg and Andy Reid, let him learn that offense. And when it was time for Michael Vick to play in that offense, the same type of offense he can run, Michael lit it up.
Yeah.
There's no rush to play this guy, despite the fact that athletically, he's a wonder kid. There's no question about it. But they drafted him to play quarterback.
And I just want to make clear, we're not saying, and I'm not necessarily saying do it week 1. The question is whether you utilize the two of them on the field at the same time at some point, create a little bit of a package to confuse defenses at some point, wherever in the season. It doesn't have to be for 100 snaps. It could be for 4 snaps, 5 snaps. He could be on there as a decoy. He could be, taking away attention from him or what have you. And that could be week 4. It could be week 6. Or, so I understand what you're saying, because ideally you have an Aaron Rodgers situation where he's just sitting on the bench and he's waiting for his turn. He's learning from his clipboard and then he comes in there. But because he's such a dual threat, with his arm and with his legs, there may be something you can do to protect him as much as you can and also help out this offense. That's all I'm saying.
Let me say this. Nobody will be upset in Baltimore if there's no argument. If Joe Flacco lights it up, plays well, and they're winning games, it won't matter.
Yeah, it's all in his hands.
Those are some pretty weapons he's got right now.
And listen, he's shown when he plays like the one Joe Flacco, good things happen.
Sure.
We'll see.